talk some Utah Jazz, man.
Let's do it.
Once again, folks, before we get into the content, we want to remind you about Utah Jazz DNA. This is a channel we developed specifically for your Utah Jazz content. We want to encourage you to jump into the conversation in the comments down below. While you're down there, consider subscribing to the channel if you're following us for our Utah Jazz content. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there, and check out some of the merch store, man. We got the Hot Rod Hunley t-shirt in the merch store down there. Check it out. We also got some other stuff we got coming in as well, so be sure to check it out. As first thing, AJ, is, dude, what is Kevin Love still doing on this roster?
I do not know, dude. I mean, this was supposed to be very clearly a sign, wave, get him off the roster. I don't get it, dude. I mean, I don't know what the holdup is. I feel like I could see the Jazz like trying to get something back for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just testing the market to see if anybody will offer anything for him, because they're going to pay some of his salary. No one's going to pay his full. I think it's $8 million is what he's supposed to be making this year or something like that.
4.7.
Oh, is it only 4.7? Okay. I mean, I guess that's not terrible.
No.
Not nearly as much as I thought.
Well, what's good about this is here's according to NBA insider Jake Fisher, Love is looking for a big glamour market for his next destination, which I don't think it's going to be Utah if you're looking for a glamour market. But he's looking for either New York or Los Angeles. It's been materialized that he is interested in the Knicks and also in the Lakers. The Fisher made on the Bleacher Report's YouTube channel. So we talked about the production. We talked about this in the production meeting earlier. I'm kind of tired of these guys just expecting the Jazz to buy him out, right?
I mean, but the problem is the Jazz keep doing it.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of the Jazz just being the third team that we're including in, sure, $4.5 million isn't anything, but, you want to give $1 million and walk out, sure, that's fine. But I'm tired of this whole, the Utah Jazz are going to be in this thing where we're like, okay, hey, we get a second-round draft pick and a player to be named later type situation. I'm getting tired of us being in that scenario. Here's the thing, though, is it seems like what's going on is it's not that the Jazz didn't offer a buyout. It's that he's not willing to take a buyout unless he knows he has a preferred destination deal lined up.
Right.
So I'm willing to bet you the Jazz probably came up to him and said, hey, you got $4.5 million left on your contract. We'll buy you out $1 million so you can go do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And
somebody needs to pay the other 3.5 or whatever it is.
No, it's just a buyout. He's a free agent. Just done after that.
Okay, I gotcha.
So the Jazz just said, like, hey, we'll pay you $1 million to go away, and then he's like, okay, takes $1 million, and he signs as a free agent somewhere else. He's not willing to do that because someone's not going to offer him $3.5 million to play for their team.
Yeah.
So he wants to make sure that he has a landing spot before so he doesn't walk away from $3 million in one of the twilight years of his career. So that's basically the take on what some of the rumors are, is that he's not willing to accept a buyout that's not favorable to him unless he already knows he's got a destination city lined up.
Get ready to put on the purple and blue then, man.
No, what I think is actually going to happen is I think the Jazz are going to trade him for a second-round draft pick somewhere. They're going to find somewhere to dump him for a second-round draft pick and let that be their problem. They're going to try and be nice, probably, see if New York would want to take him or if the Lakers want to take him. There's a future second-round draft pick somewhere in the league, somewhere down the line there for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sure, why not? Trade him for a second-round draft pick. I just don't think the Jazz are in any hurry to make the Lakers better for nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
why would we pay Kevin Love $1 million so he can go sign with the Lakers?
I mean, my thing is this guy's really, really on the tail end of his career, right? He's pushing 40. I mean, he averaged under 11 minutes per game last year, and really at this point in his career, he's really just stretched the floor. You know what I mean? Like he's just not nearly the effective Kevin Love that won an NBA championship. He's out there to really offer leadership and be that guy that is playing with his friends. I mean, that's why the Lakers are even remotely an option, is because LeBron James is there.
Yeah, reunite with your old NBA champ buddy. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, I mean, it's not like the Lakers are competing for an NBA championship next year.
Well, according to them, they probably feel like they are. Have you seen Skinny Luka?
I have seen Skinny Luka, and it looks weird, actually. That's
Skinny
not
Luka
Luka.
thing, man. This is like the Ben Simmons always showing up in the off season, showing videos of him just draining threes in a practice facility,
Yeah.
an empty gym somewhere. Every year we get the Skinny Luka thing where he's like working out, getting jacked somewhere, and it's always always convenient that it's when he's going to be playing in a tournament for his home country.
Yeah.
That he always seems to be in the best shape of his life, but he looks a lot different this time. So we'll see if it's a little different. We'll see if his head coach JJ. His comments, JJ Redick, his comments that he made about we need to be in playoff shape. Let's see if that sunk in for him. We'll see. But yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm just tired of the Jazz being the third team in these blockbuster trades where we get a player to be named later. It would be nice to stop being nice to the rest of the NBA and start worrying about our own team. So love to hear it, that we're just simply not just saying, okay, look, we're going to pay you half your salary to go away. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just happened too many times. Kendrick Perkins, Russell Westbrook, Derrick Love, or what was the guy's name?
Rose.
Derrick Rose. I mean, and now Kevin Love, right? Like they just stack up all these players that were technically on Jazz payroll at one point. We paid them to go away. Now we got another one.
Yeah, and same on that. Kyle Anderson. What are we going to do with that guy?
I have no idea.
He's another one. Like it's been 2 weeks, AJ. We haven't had a welcome to Utah press conference with either one of these guys.
Yeah.
Not even an IG post with a jersey swap done. And like I said, the trade was over 2 weeks ago, dude.
Yeah.
So we obviously don't plan on keeping these guys with the team. So what are we doing with them?
They did welcome Nurkic though.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was the one guy that they actually did like post and say welcome to Utah.
Yeah. The other two they haven't done that with. So
yeah.
I think he's got to roll this team. We talked about it a little bit last week about how he's probably going to be the backup center because Flip's just kind of basically in a 4-spot role. His lack of defense is going to kind of push him to that role, to a more traditional center to be center. So yeah, interesting stuff, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to hear from you guys. What do you think? What's going to happen? Do you see the Jazz trading Kevin Love to New York or LA? Probably trade him back to Miami. I don't know. Who knows?
He can go anywhere.
Yeah, wherever you want to go.
Preferably the Eastern Conference, but
wherever you want to go. Your 4.4 points and on 11 minutes on 4 rebounds per game will not be missed around here. So the reason why I'm salty towards Kevin Love, guys, is because he blocked a trade to Utah when the team was good, when we had Gordon Hayward and D. Will and that squad. We had a team, that could actually, this is post D. Will. So we had who was it?
I mean, Mo Williams is probably one of them. Gordon Hayward. Al Jefferson. No, maybe probably
post.
That's
It was
post
when we
Al
had
Jefferson.
We had Paul Millsap, Gordon Hayward. We had who was the point guard, man? We had a good point guard. I can't remember his name for the life of me. Anyway, we had
Rubio.
No, this is pre-Ricky Rubio days. Which, by the way, another person that Kevin Love played with, a good law partner with him. So, did you see that he announced his retirement from professional basketball?
Ricky Rubio?
Yeah, he's going to be focusing on his mental health. Might play internationally for Spain. Spain?
I think he just re-signed. I think he just signed a 1-year contract somewhere. Because I follow Ricky Rubio.
Yeah, this was something that AM Hoops just did a video on about 3 days ago.
Oh, really?
4 days ago, maybe?
Probably about when I saw it.
Yeah, did he sign with an NBA team?
No, it wasn't NBA. It was a European team.
Yeah, probably. That makes sense. You just it's very interesting, man. Very interesting. Another guy that's going to be pretty much right along. I draw parallels between him and Isaiah Collier all day long.
Yeah.
Brilliant court vision. Can take a bump, can set a screen with the rest of them, just can't shoot for a lick. So that's kind of where they line up together. All right, man. So I want to also talk a little bit about the trade. Not the trade deadline, but the trade that set everything in motion here. So, hey, AJ.
Yeah.
What if I told you that a former Jazz player is the one who's going to put an end to the rebuild for the Utah Jazz? And what if I told you that man was Derrick Favors?
I would say how and why.
This is very interesting, guys. We read an article about, where was it? It was, where was this?
It was ESPN.
Was it on ESPN?
Yeah.
Talking about how it was one of the worst trades for the Utah Jazz in history is still getting in our way. And you and I saw a different angle. Do you want to go through it?
I kind of want to hear your take on it, but I've got some good stuff on it too, though.
Oh no, I want break down
Oh.
the trade.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, I got you. So, in 2020, I mean, there's a couple things that happened in 2020, and this all kind of lines up, right? So the Jazz obviously draft Udoka Azubuike. They draft him with the 27th overall. Obviously, Azubuike was so much potential. He was, widely considered for a first-round draft pick, a bust. And then within 48 hours, they signed Derrick Favors to his second stint with the Jazz on a 3-year, $27 million deal, and used their mid-level exception. So Favors has a really, really rough year for the Jazz. And the Jazz end up trading him to Oklahoma City. And the only way they can get him to move, or the only way they can move that 3-year, $27 million deal is to attach a first-round pick and dump his contract to OKC. This happens in 2021. That 2020 that pick has had protections on it, right? Mm-hmm. So that pick has and that pick's really lingered as a liability to the Jazz. So it was top 10 protected in 24, which did not convey. Top 10 protected in 25, which did not convey. Mm-hmm. And now in 2026, this is also that now it is top 8 protected. If it doesn't convey now, the obligation extinguishes.
Right. So what we're saying is that because of the Derrick Favors trade, because we were offloading him, he set the tone for if the Jazz were to go into a rebuild, that is where the bottom is going to be. Like they can no longer, after the 2026 draft, this was the last year where it was important for them not to be bad enough to where they had to where they would have to care about losing their first pick.
Correct.
2026 is a loaded draft. We have a guy who's already on the Jazz payroll right now, playing for BYU that the Jazz are hoping to land, as well as several other options. There's that Boozer kid.
Yeah.
It's also pretty good. And who's that guy that's the number one option right now towards most of the league? What's his name? Derrick something Derrick? I don't know. Anyway, terrible basketball fan for not knowing who that is. But anyway, so what we're saying here is that when the Jazz, you and I both agree that the Jazz actually did not think they were going into full tank rebuild mode when they traded away
Derrick Favors.
No, when they traded away Rudy and Donovan.
Oh, right. Absolutely.
Because if they did, that was one of the worst rebuilds ever made. Because what they did is they waited 2 years before they actually tore it all the way down and actually tried to rebuild, try to start from the bottom and go through the tanking process and rebuild from the ground up. They got a bunch of players better than they thought. They made some moves at the trade deadline to make themselves. They were looking at the trade deadline to see if they could get better, and then they were on the cusp there, making the play in, and they're like, okay, we're not going to make it. Let's trade away assets. And the same thing they try to do the next year. So I think what they thought they could do the first couple of years is they could just kind of pivot and kind of slow grow, but still be relatively competitive within the play-in tournament-ish era.
Yeah.
And then when they decided to go into full tank mode and strip the thing down to the bare bones, they looked at that and said, okay, when that pick is no longer has to be conveyed, if it's not top 10, top 8 protected, that's when we're setting the deadline.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what the Utah Jazz did when they finally, AJ, blew it all up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I 100% agree. And I think that the big thing is the Jazz, this pick is really lingering for them, right? Because they knew that they had to be one of the worst teams in the league to protect this pick. Otherwise, they're giving it up. Mm-hmm. Now, at this point, my question is are the Jazz going to look, are we going to be one of the worst 8 teams in the league this year? Most likely.
Right.
But if we're not one of the worst teams in the league, we can still fall outside of that top 8.
Right.
Now, how much would it suck if we get the number 9th pick and we go, you know what I mean? We fall outside of the lottery, get the 9th pick, and that goes to Oklahoma City, who just won the NBA title.
Oh, that would be pretty similar to what happened with the Golden State Warriors when Steph Curry got hurt. And they were all of a sudden were in the lottery and drafted Kuminga. Yeah. And then all of a sudden right back to winning an NBA championship a year later.
Yeah.
It'd be right around the same concept there. And it also feels kind of like, I don't know. For me, I honestly think that this is the time where the draft's going to favor the Jazz, I think. I don't think we're ever going to move up in the draft, like exceed odd expectations. But I do see that if we're not like the worst team in the NBA, we're not going to follow the top 8 of the draft.
Right.
We're not going to drop down to 12 or whatever. We're going to still stay in the top 8, and hopefully with hopefully the bouncing balls, the weighted frozen bouncy balls, fall our way this time, and we get a decent draft pick out of it, man. Because like again, this one is front loaded. There's a lot of heavy talent in the top 5, just like this year, and I think that draft pick is going to convey something special. So I love it, man. I love it, the fact that this was where I think the Utah Jazz set the deadline. It was like, we're only going to be bad till this time.
Yeah,
regardless of what they said in the media.
Right, but I think it's kind of funny that we haven't noticed this till now, right?
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Like the fact that we haven't really looked in so deep enough to see that we may not potentially own our first round pick until the end of 2026, right? Like we've been threatened with, conveying that pick to Oklahoma City, and when the Jazz went into this, they didn't even care about a first round pick, right? Like this is a team that was still planning on winning.
That's what makes the John Collins signing very confusing.
So confusing, dude. Because you only get John Collins if you're trying to win basketball games.
Was this?
Do you remember how excited we were when the Jazz picked up John Collins?
Yeah, and he had his best career year last year.
Yeah,
it's kind of got in the way
statistically,
of us losing,
absolutely,
losing some games there.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, when it comes to that, man, like I don't know why we didn't see it. Probably because of the fact that what the Jazz were saying in press conferences, what the front office was saying, and what the team were doing were two completely different things.
Yeah, 100%.
They were saying, "Oh, we're going to develop our young players. We're going to build from within. We're going to put, that kind of stuff. We're going to develop, young players." And then they go and they sign Collins.
Yeah, it was just nothing like what you know what I mean. Like you're like,
and they signed JC to an extension at that point too.
I mean, and then they go pick up John. I think Collins came shortly after that.
Mm-hmm.
No, he came over in the market and trade.
Yeah, Colin Sexton. Yeah, he came in the market and trade, but there was offers for him ever since we got him.
Yeah.
So it was just very much confusing. But when you look at it, and you look, okay, when the Jazz actually decided to let it go, this date was staring you clear in the face.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they don't want to convey their picks, so they're going to be bad enough until 2026, and then whatever happens after that, they get their pick based off of how good or bad they're going to be, which I think is fascinating. That one, that we didn't catch it before now, and two, is Derrick Favors that set this line, Utah Jazz legend.
How good has OKC been at just working the draft market though? You know what I mean? To think
really good.
This whole time they're just like, you better watch it, Jazz.
Yeah. Exactly.
They're over here just cheering for the Jazz to win every single game, dude. Yeah. They're probably our biggest fans.
They are our biggest fans. The funny thing about that is that they're also like still have more draft capital than the Jazz do right now.
It's insane.
And they just won a title.
That is such. I mean, Sam Presti's just done a fantastic job building that team.
Anytime anybody's like, "Oh yeah, we're following the OKC blueprint," no, we're not.
No,
we're not. First of all, we don't have half the draft capital they do.
Yeah, not even close.
And a lot of the players we drafted, I don't see an SGA on this roster, at least not yet.
No.
Potential, maybe.
And it's funny because in that same article, did you see what his actual? So, this worst mistake, the one that we're talking about here, the Favors move and stuff. Mm-hmm. In that article, the biggest recent mistake he actually said the Jazz's issue was the Jazz not trading Lauri Markkanen after his value peaked after the 22-23 season, where he made an All-Star game.
That is what we call a segue move right there, AJ.
Yes, it is.
We want to go ahead and move into our next conversation here. While we do that, let's hit this comment here from Greg Hawkins. Says, can't wait to another year of tanking. Cheers to that. Cheers to you on that one.
Cheers, Greg.
Let me start by saying this, Greg, channel legend, but I'm going to say here's where you're wrong. So, watching the Jazz tank last year and the year before that was very, very painful because what we saw were obvious roster manipulations and game lineup manipulations to make sure they did not win enough games. This year, what we're going to go out and see is we're going to go out and see a team where we're going to see actual development. We're going to see the development of these young players. We're going to be able to see what we got out of Taylor Hendricks. We're going to see whether or not Walter Clayton Jr. is a
big time shot maker, is a big time playmaker. Like
can he be a point guard? Can he be a passer? Can he,
is he actually NBA ready like we hope he is?
Yeah, which I think that he's pretty much going to be, but it's college, so you have no idea. There's plenty of college players that won College Player of the Year and, just simply did not work out in the NBA.
Yeah.
What's his name? Jimmer. So, you can work out great in college and not. So there's plenty of, and then how is Flip's development going to be? How are they going to fit Lauri Markkanen into all this?
Yeah.
So it's
How does Markkanen fit with Taylor Hendricks and Cody Williams? And you know what I
Yeah.
mean, you've got all these weird roster manipulations, but me as a Jazz fan, that just fires me up, dude.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like I get excited to think that if we can go into a season and play competitive basketball and let these guys actually develop and try to gain some chemistry and become an actual team versus, like you said, all of this roster manipulation specifically to lose basketball games because we're trying to position ourselves for the draft specifically. I don't know if I can do another season of that.
No.
Right?
That was painful.
If we're just letting these guys go out there and give it their all and we win 25 games, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. But I want to see these guys play. I want to see
Yeah.
them out there on the floor learning to play with each other.
Do we have the Jazz current starting point guard? Like, is there going to be a point guard on this team that's going to be? We did a video on that last week. Be sure to check it out. So there's a whole lot of that. But so it's going to be a lot more interesting than what we watched last year. Very similar to how when Gordon Hayward first came into the league, when Darren Williams was gone, and we had to figure it out on the fly.
Absolutely.
During the Ty Corbin early years, there's a lot of
that was some ugly basketball too.
Yeah. So that was there, but it was really fun to watch Gordon Hayward, and some of these players develop. So Ronnie Brewer and this good teams, man, fun teams to watch. So it won't be as bad as last year, but I'm with you, Greg. I don't know how much more losing I can take, but hopefully only one more year. With that said, there, man, we also want to talk a little bit about an article that was on that came up, which was on jnotes.com, where there was an interview that was done where the front office was asked a question about, so what are the insights with Lauri Markkanen, right?
Yeah.
So Lauri Markkanen, once again, trade rumors are hitting the floor, right?
Always.
Not nearly as bad as it was last offseason before the contract was signed, but he's still getting a lot of trade rumors. We've done a lot of coverage on this. And recently we discussed that even if the Jazz were wanting to trade Lauri Markkanen, his new contract makes it very difficult to, because the teams that were interested in him are probably don't have the space to sign him now.
Correct.
Which is great because we both agree that Lauri Markkanen doesn't want to be traded and the Jazz don't want to trade him either. So it all works out.
Yeah.
Right? Now there's a new sheriff in town with Ainge Jr.
Correct.
And he hasn't shied away from trading players, even when there's a perceived loss on that trade, just simply because we need to get them moved on. We need to move on from them. Yes, we should have traded Colin Sexton, JC, John Collins, when we could have actually gotten decent stuff from him.
Yeah, if they had decent years and they were out there and, they were the top producers for a really bad team, but the league understood that value, and the Jazz missed on moving them.
Yeah, and I think Senior just didn't see. He tried to do his normal thing where he tries to win every trade, and sometimes you got to addition by subtraction. But with that said, now the vets are moved, so we can get some of these new players in, so we can see what their minutes look like there. Give them some more minutes to see what kind of players they're going to shape up to be, which is kind of the whole point of a rebuild in the first place. So what are the front office's thoughts on Larry now?
Yeah, I mean, and to quote it, very specifically said, we hope it'll be a long one. We love Lauri, and he understands what we're doing and how this team is building, which is such a good thing that if Lauri's on board with this rebuild and the players that this team's bringing in, and he's on board with them, like really embracing this youth movement, right? Like he's okay being the veteran guy that Lauri does a lot of things really well, dude. I mean, he's an elite catch and shoot player. Obviously he's great at spacing the floor, and when you have really young, kind of creators like Ace Bailey and Isaiah Collier, that's exactly the type of veteran guy you need to give those guys room to work, a separate offensive weapon. He can continue to lead them and show them, hey, you took the screen and moved off, but you should have taken 2 steps back and take that 3. You were wide open. Lauri sees that stuff, and he can help push these guys and put them in positions to actually be successful.
Have to agree with you, man. Have to agree with you on that one. So what's also stated in the article about how the Jazz are excited to have him here long term. However, it comes at a time where they're going to have to start paying some young guys that would actually, we'll get into that part. But one thing I want to mention that you touched on there is that he is on board. He understands what we're doing with this team. So he's on board.
Yeah.
Rumor has it that last year he didn't want to do what they did,
Yeah.
but they obviously paid him a contract, and to previous thing we thought it was front loaded is not front loaded. It's actually back loaded. It steadily increases every single year.
Oh, really?
His last year is worth $53 million.
Oh.
So we'll get into that a little bit here, but that's kind of what I'm thinking about. With the new regime, who's going to see it. What happened in that quote, which you skipped over, is that he's like, "I hope it's a long one." He laughed, and so after you laugh, basically what's that's telling. And he's like, "Well, seriously, we love Lauri. If you're reading the way that the statement's made, he's not saying he's not tradable."
Right.
What he is saying is that it's going to have to be a hell of a deal to sign him. And with the current CBA and the second apron, there's probably not going to be a team who's going to barely offer him anything, But with that said, though, I don't think he wants to go anywhere, and I think he wants to stay here. The article states that at the bottom, he's going to have to stay here long term. However, when it comes to paying our younger players, like I mentioned, I'll get into. This contract is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Right? You got Walker Kessler, you got to extend, which, by the way, he's extension eligible. No contract has been mentioned yet. So I don't know if there's a handshake deal going on there or what's going on there, but he's coming into this year. They probably want to see how well he plays. If he returns to form like last year, then great. But I think they're going to do a restricted free option with him and see what happens there. But yeah, some of these players we're going to start demanding some contracts.
Yeah.
And towards the end of the year, it's going to be a $53+ million cap hit to have him on the team when he's kind of in the tail end of his career. Now, I think aging players on $50+ million contracts is going to be something that's going to be a pretty much a norm among a lot of competing teams.
Yeah.
We're already seeing players that are seeing that $50 million number. Wasn't Damian Lillard one of them?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it last year of his deal $50 million?
I think there's $60 million contracts out there now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
And then didn't LeBron James opt into his $54 million contract as well?
I'm sure.
But it's LeBron James. He's still a top 10 player in the league, but he's definitely coming on the tail end of it. And something that I'm going to see that's going to be something that's going to be more common for teams that are competing. They're going to have an aging vet on the team that's still valued, but it's going to be taking up a majority of your cap space that you want to put to somebody else. This can very much become like the Andre Karolinko contract, but I think along with the increase in the payroll luxury tax limit due to the new TV deal, it's not going to look as bad as it looks now. Like right now, you're looking at that like $53 million, $51 million the last 2 years, so $105 million the last 2 years of his contract.
That seems pretty daunting. Yeah.
So a player with back issues who can only shoot threes, at that point, he's not going to be as explosive as he is now.
I mean, you say that he'll be 33.
Yes, but a player that can move like him, that is already having back
7'1" back issues,
spasms, right? But he did have some injury history before he came to Utah too, when they weren't necessarily trying to.
I think Lauri can be healthy for a full year if we need him to be, though, and that's kind of the exciting part is if we're actually playing games to have him out there and be the veteran presence. To kind of lead some of these guys into some of these games, and he can be healthy and be available. He is a huge asset to this team, in my opinion.
I do see them being some Phantom IL stints, though, like a game or two, like back to back.
I don't see them playing Lauri and putting him in any position.
Knees are sore, huh, Lauri? Let's just have you sit this one
out.
Yeah,
just take a couple down.
Yeah. So anyway, I just think it's super interesting there. We actually got some feedback from the Jazz on what they're trying to do. They're going to be throwing a lot of minutes towards this young core, and they're going to have Lauri Markkanen in there and have him playing, because obviously they can't do what they did last year. They already got fined for it once, so we'll see what happens. But, I love that we're going to be playing a bunch of young players and let the chips fall where they may and see what happens. I definitely think the Jazz are still going to be in the top 8 when it comes to drafting, so we're not going to have to convey that pick. But after that, man, all bets are off. We'll see what happens with the Jazz.
Yeah, it's going to be – I don't know, Jazz fans. Chime into the comments. Let us know what you think. Do you think this could be the year that we do get the opportunity to see these young players actually grow and, build together as a team? Or is this going to be another year that it's just straight tanking? We want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. While you're down there, make sure you smash that like button and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate it.
Exactly. We just launched a channel for your Utah Jazz called Utah Jazz DNA. A link to that channel will be in the description down below. All of our Jazz content are posted here first, so be sure to subscribe to the channel. Check out the merch store. We got a Hot Rod Hunley t-shirt in there.
Yeah.
So check it out. Check it out.